Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm joining you once again from my scenic basement because the kids are up, so I don't want to disturb you in any way. I'll move myself up here, I guess. There we go. So on Monday and Tuesday, all I wanted you to do was to take a look at the unit vocabulary and to also um, take a look at the videos of A Class Divided, which I hope you found interesting. Not a lot of people give me questions about it, so hopefully you understood it or at least found my sort of supplementary video helpful. So today and tomorrow, I would expect you to work on the unit test. If you finish today, great. Then you don't really have anything to do tomorrow. And I made it, there are some extended response questions, so I did give you a little bit more time than normal. I didn't make this due until next Tuesday. As far as the fourth quarter goes, I think you'll only have two summatives. You'll have this one, and you'll also have one for our final unit, the Civil War. Usually I like to do, two summatives per unit, but I think that it will make the most sense for all of us if I just do one for each. And really, it's, the content is going to be there, but we just might have a fewer summatives, which I don't think is going to hurt anyone's feelings. All right, so with that said, why don't I just preview the test here for you? So make sure you don't have any questions. As you can see, it says 4th of July remote unit test. And please highlight your answers when grading it. It's just easy for me to see. So question number 1 and 5 and 2, as I go down here back and forth, those are multiple choice. Number 6 requires a typed response right next to the asterisk here. So it says, along with Lucretia Mott, what other woman helped organize the Seneca Falls Convention? So you just put your answer right next to the asterisk. Number 3 is also multiple choice. Number 7, similar to the one above. That one requires a written response right here next to the asterisk. 4 and 8 are multiple choice. All of these review the 4 groups that we talked about. Slaves or people who were enslaved, abolitionists, Native Americans, and then those seeking women's rights. 9 and 13 multiple choice, 10 and 14 are multiple choice, 11 and 15 are multiple choice, and then 12 is again one where you have to type in your answer right here where the asterisks are, and number 16, the last one of this section, is multiple choice as well. 17, I couldn't really figure out a way to put this as a multiple choice question, so I just wrote it here. It says, what is the name of this painting and who is featured in it? So the painting is obviously the one that is right here, and just put your answers. Don't need to be in complete sentences. Just tell me what's the name of the painting and who is featured in it. Not the artist. I don't need that. John Stewart Curry, but you don't need to know that. It's who is featured in it. What else want to say about that? I guess, well, keep in mind that you can use any resources. So whether it's Google or, probably more helpfully, past lessons. Now, the next part is a little bit different, and it might seem overwhelming, but you do have options and you don't have to do them all. In fact, I don't want you to do them all. So it says for questions 18 through 25, please answer only 3. Okay, so no more than that. I want the 3 that you're going to do the best with. Please answer those ones. There's no extra credit for answering all 8 or however many there are. It says all questions are tied to the video A Class Divided that was posted on Monday. You are encouraged to make connections to other source matter that we've discussed this year or what you already might know from history. Okay, so for those like responses, tying some of what you saw in the video to other things from history or other things that you've read, other things that we've talked about. You already have the link to the video from a couple days ago, but here it is right here. Now, this is the link of the PBS Frontline series, the one that's 53 minutes long, the same exact one that I posted earlier. If you have trouble viewing the video, okay, you need to let me know as soon as possible. Okay. And then I just give you a little kind of table of contents here to might save you some time. So the first section is with the initial lesson with 3rd graders. And we've got the review that takes place 15 years later with those same 3rd graders who are now adults. Then we have the impressions from the Greenhaven prisoners. And then finally, the lesson done with the employees of the Department of Prisons. So the questions here, again, you only have to do how many? 3. Number 18 says, do you believe that Mrs. Elliott's lesson is an effective way to teach students about racism? Please explain your answer. So yes, it might be the kids followed along with the lesson, but is it actually an effective way to teach about discrimination and more specifically in this case racism? Number 19, did the use of collars matter? Right, so those with the adults they were kind of a greenish color. With the kids they seemed to be like a navy blue, right? Those things that went around them. Did their use matter? Why was that tool used in both the 1970s and 1985? Number 20, assuming you had never seen the video. So try to envision that you don't know sort of the results of what happens with both the adults and the kids. Do you think Mrs. Elliott's lesson would have worked on day 2 of school? So not day 1, but like day 2. So it's still September 5th. You sort of know most of the people, maybe so there's some new faces, new teachers, certainly, but I'm still, someone who's in front of the classroom. Would this work with 8th graders in Epping Middle School? We saw that it worked in 1970 with 3rd graders in Riceville, Iowa. Would it work with 8th graders in Epping Middle School in 2020? Again, not knowing how the video, what the result of the video is. Number 21, one man at Greenhaven said, this is a film that I hope my children get to see. Do you feel this is an appropriate lesson for 3rd graders to take part in? Were there any specific sections that you felt were damaging? Please explain your answer. Mrs. Elliott, there's a lot about her on the internet. She's still alive, actually. She's into her 80s, but you can find her doing interviews. Some people criticize this, that it was wrong to subject kids this young to this. There's sometimes she does it with high schoolers, and you can see some people being very upset, teenagers crying, leaving the room, things like that. So is this something that is appropriate for 3rd graders to take part in? Number 22, a large part of the first lesson concerned the educational performance of 3rd graders. Why were these children so willing to believe eye color affected intelligence? What evidence is there that their learning was being harmed or improved? So, why were they using eye color both for themselves and for other people as a reason as evidence of their intelligence? And then what were some of the things that we saw in that classroom? How was that? What evidence was that was gathered? Number 23, with the adult employees, why were individuals in the blue-eyed group so hesitant or resistant to speak up for Roger as he was being spoken to fairly harshly with little to no reason? So, there was the back and forth with Karen, but that seemed to be like she was, Karen was sort of giving as good as she got, let's say. But Roger was, being relatively kind as he was sort of taking this, I guess I'll use the word abuse, about how he was standing. And then she made some, Mrs. Elliott made some insults about his intelligence and things like that. But so why did, you have this room full of people who are adults, these are people who work in the prison system. Why were they so willing to sit back on that? Number 24, why is it helpful for discrimination to be led by a figure of authority? Please explain your answer. So obviously, I say helpful, what happened here is not a helpful situation. But why do we see this sort of gross discriminatory behavior? Why often is there a figure of authority? Is there a leader to these type of actions? And finally, number 25, can people be taught their way out of adopting discriminatory and prejudicial ways of thinking? So please explain your answer. Meaning that, yes, you might be able to teach this in a class, but is that actually going to be effective in ending this for in a long-term consequence? Is this something that, oh, you did it on a Tuesday and by Thursday you forget about it? Or is this actually something that over sustained periods of time and revisiting that you can actually sort of rid yourself of thinking in that way? All right, so that is the test. Remember, there are 8 questions there, but you only have to do 3 of them. If you have any questions, please email me or send me something via Google Classroom, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Pardon any typos, but I wish you the best of luck, everybody, and hopefully you have a chance to enjoy the sunny day. So if it's sunny out, go do something outside. The test will not due until Tuesday, so you got plenty of time.